Welcome. So I'll just start it. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Today we have George. He joins us from B4BCompany. He's the CEO and director there. So B4BCompany aids organizations in their digital transformation. They incorporate AI chatbots and RPA solutions for their clients, and it helps in creating more leads for them, significant savings in customer service cost. A little bit about George. He is truly passionate about AI chatbots and RP solution. He's quite active. As you can see, he does a lot of thought leadership content out there in the northern part of the South America. So without any further ado, I would like to welcome George to the session. George, thank you so much for taking out the time today and sharing your experience with the world. Cool. So George, would you like to introduce yourself? Introduce yourself and how does your day-to-day job look like? What do you do in your day-to-day job?
Okay, thanks. Good morning. Here in Colombia, it's good morning to all the people who are connected. Thank you very much for the invitation. Well, my name is Jorge Cisneros Palacios. I was born in Ecuador and now I live in Colombia. About 6 years ago, B4BCompany started operating. Our company's purpose is to help small, medium, and large businesses to automate these processes with the help of technologies such as artificial intelligence, data analytics, and some components of digital marketing. B4BCompany has operations in Colombia and Ecuador as its main operational hubs. But we also have a highly satisfied clients in Central America and South America. As a startup, my job as the company director involves providing strategy and leading the company to continue growing with more clients. Of course, when it's necessary to meet a commitment, I have no problem diving into writing some lines of code myself. I believe that over these 6 years and maybe more, we have grown in an organized manner, and we will continue on the same path.
It's great. It's really nice to know that you are efficient in coding also, something which is really important. Cool. So George, what types of clients do you have? So you cater to all different kind of industries, and all these people come to you with their unique problems. What is the problem? What is the common problem they come to you to solve?
Okay, this is a great question. In these 6 years with B4BCompany, we have been developing chatbots. It's the principal experience of B4B for different industries. Among, for example, the most important I can mention, like construction services, some companies of services, retail, e-commerce, health services, and maybe another industries like restaurants. I think that chatbots is a perfect tool to all of companies. In each industry, our mission has been to create custom chatbots to solve problems such as, for example, improve the quantity and the quality of prospects. I think that better prospects increase the probability of making sales with less effort of the commercial team. Support customers all the time. A human can work between maybe 8 and 10 hours per day. I think that a robot never sleeps and can serve more than one customer at the same time. It's a perfect thing. Sometimes people think that designing a chatbot in a customer service process can make their customers maybe angry. I think that a client gets more upset when he doesn't have an answer. Of course, the chatbots must be well trained.
Great. So I think I agree with the point that it is 24/7 available. So there's always a first line of defense. Most of the companies, they operate from Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday is off. Even they have agents, but you always have that first line of defense with the AI chatbot who can answer most of the questions and really helps. Agreed to that. So how did you come across Kommunicate, and how Kommunicate's chatbot help you with your customers?
Okay, since the beginning of our company, we have worked with Kommunicate. We chose Kommunicate for maybe two very important reasons for us. For example, the first one is the support and the kind of the work team has always exceed our expectations. We always find answers and very quickly. Features, for example, integrations and the documentation are very good. Everything is very easy to understand and set up. This has made our chatbot smarter and just add more value to our clients' operations.
Thank you for giving a shout out there to our customer, the technical support team. They are truly amazing and we are really proud of them. So what specific feature of Kommunicate do you like the most? What made you move towards Kommunicate rather than the other chatbot companies out there in the world? What specific feature would you like to call out?
Wow, there are many features very interesting for all the industries. I will try to list a few. For example, I think that the integration with Dialogflow. In our company, we work with several Google services. So it's so important to us to vinculate and integrate with Dialogflow our chatbots. Second, maybe the widget, the screen that shows the chatbot that the Kommunicate has is very nice. And the best thing is that it can be configured with several options. Just not only the colors, so many options, additionals. 3, the agent console has the option that every agent would like. 4, maybe the types of messages that the robot can use to reply to the customer. Here I'm going to tell you a specific secret. Kommunicate is the only one that allows placing a form is as a response to the client. Later I will show you that we are talking about. And maybe the 5, it's more integration of channels and other applications and Zendesk, maybe the e-commerce, the principal e-commerce platforms, WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook. I know that there are many more, but I think these are the ones that we value the most of the Kommunicate features.
Yeah, recently, due to everything, there's so much of noise out in the market with ChatGPT and everything. Most of our clients reached out. They said, we also want ChatGPT. We went ahead and we created the first version of ChatGPT integration, and we are developing it day by day. So want to hear your thoughts about how the conversational AI industry is moving so fast all of a sudden with the introduction of ChatGPT. And it's the same topic everywhere at every webinar, but I wanted to hear from you. How do you think the conversational industry is moving, and what do you feel about ChatGPT or anything like large language models or generative AI?
Okay, sometimes I feel a little scared. At the same time, I have a lot of expectation about ChatGPT. I believe that the advance that we are seeing in conversational processes should help us to build better relationships with the customers, understand their needs faster and better. This the principal idea, and of course, building better chatbots will be very, very important to develop the industry of the conversational experiences. Talking about specifically the ChatGPT, maybe or perhaps Bard from Google. I think the challenge is to understand what to use ChatGPT or Bard. I have always thought that humans are designed to perform complex tasks where an emotional and rational component is involved. Machines, I think, will always be more efficient in repetitive processes. The human machine relationship is getting closer and closer, and we must learn to get along and work together.
Totally agreed on that. The last part that you said, where AI and the human should come together. That was one of the bases where our founders built this whole company on. They wanted to have intelligence from AI and they wanted human empathy. So that's where we created this solution where the first line of action is being handled by the chatbot. And if it breaks down, there always a human can come in and he can take over, where some answers are not always available to the chatbot. It's always learning on the go. But if you need some time, if you need immediate attention, you can call in the agent and you can route it, which is a good feature at Kommunicate. I love it, personally over here. Okay, so George, you said you wanted to share how your clients are using the chatbot on there. So I'm gonna stop my sharing so that you can start sharing.
Okay, I'm going. Now I prepared a demo with a web page of my client. So let's give me a second to share the screen. Okay.
Yeah, it is up.
Okay. So here we have one of my clients. Director is a company of GPS services around Latin America. For example, this is the Director web page in Colombia. When we create the chatbot, we had some objectives for this company. First one is to increase the quality of the leads and maybe make better support. When I shared this chatbot because this chatbot has a lot of features with Kommunicate. For example, when you load the page, you can see that the chatbot greets and invites to the customer to click on it. When the chatbot starts, it says hello with also with a sticker, and shows the main options. For example, commercial, contact, invoices, appointments, maybe complaints. Here in Colombia is PQR, and renewals and other special features. So, for example, you remember that I told that your Kommunicate has a functionality that's not in other providers.
Mm-hmm.
For example, when a customer needs to place a claim, for example, the chatbot can submit a form, just like, for example, I select this kind of complaint.
Mm-hmm.
This is another just
okay.
like this.
Okay, so you typed in you want to place a complaint and it brings you that form immediately. You want to, okay, that's pretty good. Yeah,
because sometimes many questions can tire a client, but for a commercial process, the question and answer will be fine. But in some specific processes, maybe this form it's too easy to the client. you can show some fields to the client, and maybe this button apply and send the information to the back and receive the information. So for example, in this commercial case, we have an two option, yes, for me or for my company. And this is the typical process. For example, the chatbot questioned me to the name, rather than the phone,
Okay.
the email, and the city. And you can see in the commercial case, the robot asked the question and the client answered. At the end, it shows the products and the services in different ways. For example, you can see the services in a list, and then you can see another way to show the services with reply buttons. For example, here I can see the prices of the services, and the final question is if the client needs to contact a human. Here, this company doesn't have a human in real time, but you can transfer this or hand out this interaction to a human console and communicate. Okay, this is just one example of what can be achieved with a chatbot. I hope this little illustration has been helpful. This is all, Manaf.
Yeah, I think definitely that really helps. Because what I like the feature is like you simply given your inputs and it gives you exactly what you were looking for, the phone number, email, and it directs you to the right department. Sometimes, so we have one customer based in the Bahamas. So they are a educational institute. So they have a lot of different departments. Chemistry department, they have like some other department. Students, they were reaching out to wrong department at the wrong time. So directing to the right department, to the right professor is also a kind of a headache for people, which can be, sometimes not all the agents know where to direct the call, but the chatbot can accurately direct the right query to the right person or to the right department. Yeah, this is really, really helpful for us. Yeah. Thank you so much, George. I think we'll open up the floor for any questions from all of our attendees over here. If you have any questions for George or for Kommunicate or any kind of feedback that you want to share or any of your experiences.
All is very clear.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, Mike, we can clearly hear you.
Okay, so we were discovering, so we are basically a healthcare company. My name is Mike Saman, and Elos Healthcare is doing business as a Elos Healthcare, but we are a Dignity Healthcare company. So our purpose is basically building a chat bot in a question and answer session. So where we have a personal assistant called Bell who talks to our patients. That's the way we are trying to build. But I like the cool part of your side is that's something we have not explored right now is like menu system. So two questions I have. By the way, before I go, I accidentally, I would say I was discovering a process. How do we launch our AWS, building a chat onto a showcase, which is we identified Communicator is a good place to launchpad for us. Although I'm not using all the features of Kommunicate, but eventually I think we will grow with that also, right? Like mixing we ought to do. So my first question to you is, what you showed me a menu system, is this drifting away from app to chatbot? Because app does the same thing, mobile apps, because we do have a mobile app on a healthcare, or not healthcare, home care services, which ask you questions and you answer, you fill up the form, right? Mm-hmm. And now the cool part which I learned is that, okay, you don't need to do that. You can put in a chatbot, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Our system is not a menu system we built. Our is a conversational, completely a system, right? But it's based on Q&A. So what do you think about just full conversation system? Where is the future of that? And how do we mix match between the menu system of chatbot and a conversational system? Although I found an opportunity is when a customer comes on our website, they can do the chatting on a menu system. That's what I agree with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think of the future?
For me, if I'll take this question is like, definitely, if you're asking if the same chatbot can be applied within a mobile app, within an iOS or an Android app, am I getting that correct, that question?
No, I'm okay. So we have an app which is on a mobile app, same menu system, which is drifting to chatbot. It's the same thing, but coming on a chatbot, right? I like it. It's a very interesting part. But we have a full conversational chatbot now, full conversation. There's no menu system, because at some point it's just like a hallway of a hotel where there are rooms. Each room is a chat, right? Yeah. So we bring the customers on a hallway and say, hey, I want to go to the room number 401. Then the utterances give that, right? So this is what we thought about that. Now, what is the futuristic of that? That's not something either George or Jorge, I guess, I want to understand his vision of that. You know? Conversational chatbot vision.
I guess definitely yes. It is still yet available on Kommunicate. I think we have Devashish with us to answer that question. He just turned on his camera at the right time.
Oh, I saw him. Yeah.
Hi. Yeah, hi, Mike.
Hi, Dave.
Yes. Yeah, so see, there are two cases here. Like one is where you have a complete conversational interface where there are no menus and everything, because in website or mobile app there are already menus, right? Now the thing is, there are times like when the user is not even aware what are the options, right? Having a conversational interface is great, where the user is aware that what are the possibilities, right? The possibilities might be 100 plus different options, and the user can just type it in without going through a menu. But then there are cases when the user is not even aware that what are the options available here, and that's where the menus comes into picture, where it is very helpful for a new user who is not much aware of the system, and it gives them a quick direction that, hey, these are the options. And then what happens is sometimes these menus are contextual. So if you go to a website or a mobile app, there are so many different menus, right? There will be different, let's say, product solutions, there are feature sets, or, if you talk about restaurant, there are like food menu, there are, pricing, there are, a lot of, different things are there. Now, out of all those things, now if someone goes to a website or mobile app, where all they can go, right? And they will be lost in that menu list. But when someone is interacting with a bot, it's like you start with a conversation, okay? And based on the conversation, as like what the user is asking, depending on that, you give a contextual menu to the user, which is not your whole menu list, but just regarding that conversation which is going on at that moment. So if our three options are valid for that conversation, you only give them 3 menu options, and that's where we can figure out where to keep it a pure conversational, where you don't give any menus and people have to just type it in or speak what they want, and then you mix it up with the places where you want to give some direction to the user. That's how I see how to build all these conversational user flows. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, that I'm just trying to discover another new project with Kommunicate. That's what I was thinking about.
Okay, great. Yeah. Yeah, George, you want to share something on that front?
No, it's okay. With your answer, it's perfect. I think that you can combine these two type of features. Like sometimes the menu help to direct the correct way to the conversation with the client. And maybe you can ask a general question to explain more. For example, the case when I complain, for example, and understand the chatbot it could be trained to understand and direct the conversation with a specific menu, or maybe with a contextual or text phrases with the client.
Great. Thanks, Mike, for that question. Thanks, George. Thanks, Debashish. Anyone else in the audience would like to ask George or Debashish any question or share any feedback for us? I think
I do have a question for
sure,
George. So your company is in Colombia, right?
Yeah.
Is it George? Okay.
Yeah.
So
in Colombia and Ecuador, with the hubs, when the operational hubs, but we have some and several clients in other countries in America, like Bolivia, Argentina, Ecuador, Colombia, and Mexico, Nicaragua, El Salvador.
So how do you work with the US clients? I mean, I'm not completely clear about, I understand using a Kommunicate bot, right? Kommunicate technology to build your bots.
Yeah.
So, and I like the technology which you built. Absolutely very cool. But how do you work? Say I come to you, how do you work with us? What is it like? You are like a professional services for people in the US, or is it like technology services, or you just a consulting services? Apart from your core business,
it's a combine of professional and consultant services. So, okay. For example, you can ask me to maybe build a flow of the chatbot, and then we create and train the flow, maybe on Dialogflow or Compose in the Kommunicate platform. And then you can test the bot, and maybe just one day to put on the website, or maybe on other channels.
Okay, that's so good to know. There is a
yeah. It will be a pleasure to serve your company or your colleagues.
I mean, like I like to discover many different things. I like the Kommunicate product also, really good. And what you have also, I liked it. And Colombia is not far. It's a 4-hour flight from San Francisco over there.
Yeah, and you can use the conversion rate from dollar to Colombian yes. money, because you pay $1 here in Colombia is five times of our money.
I like to visit Medellin, you know.
Yeah, Medellin is a beautiful city.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all. Thank you for the contact. Huh?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we are exactly at time. But if any one of our attendees have any question, they can leave a answer to the email address on which is manav.borwa@kommunicate.io, and we'll take it forward. I want to thank George. Thank you so much for taking out the time today and sharing your experiences with us. It's really great having you. Thanks, Mike, for joining us, and thanks, Dave, and everyone over there joining us from different parts of the world. Thank you so much for taking us the time, and thank you so much, George.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the invitation. And see you another.
Yeah, I just want to thank you, everyone, for calling us over there, and I got exposed to what Jorge is doing and George is doing. Thanks again, and we'd like to have these frequently, you know.
Sure, Mike. Feedback taking.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, and
thank you, George.
Bye.